And when I juxtapose Donald Trump to Martin Luther King, it's remarkable, flawed men both, without doubt. Questionable characters, totally different messages though. Hey, Unbelievable Reality Podcast. I'm Roy Arthur on a really trippy day. Hey, this podcast today, stick with me. You know, I'm gonna kind of digress a little bit here. I'm gonna talk about a few different subjects, not necessarily in order, but there is a narrative throughout all of this. There is a conclusion. I find it ironic that the Trump's inauguration is Monday on Martin Luther King Day. So we're going to start off book recommendation. This is really controversial, this book. I read this a decade ago. It really tripped me the fuck out. And I got to bring it up because once again, Martin Luther King Day on Monday and Donald Trump's inauguration. By the way, I couldn't be happier that it has to be, or they chose for it to be inside. It makes me question the administration and Americans as a whole. I mean, come on, it's not minus 20. And even if it was, they sell outerwear for that kind of shit, man. I mean, prove how fucking mega you really are and show up for the inauguration, even though it's inside, and just stand out there in the cold for a while because you guys are the epitome of manliness. And all of the rest of us men in the world are following your prime example. Because, you know, there's not enough masculinity in the world today, right? And I digress. See, I promised I was going to do that when I started, so I'm sticking to my word. Hellhound on his trail is the story of James Earl Ray, the assassination of Martin Luther King, the months leading up to it. This is a non-fiction novel, okay? Beautifully researched and just full of facts and details that nobody knows. All we know now is the mythology, which is why I'm getting to this publication in particular. One of the things about this book, though, is it shows another side to Martin Luther King. And it's not pretty. It's not, because behind the scenes, Martin Luther King was a human being, and he was an alcoholic, and he was a womanizer, and he was insecure, and he was self-conscious, and yeah, on and on and on. He's a flawed human being, and he did some really wacko shit. And yet his message resounds today. You know, almost 80 years later, 70 years later, one of hope and reason and inclusivity and peaceful protest. And that's what history's going to remember Martin Luther King for. Donald Trump is a flawed guy. And if it was just that he was a flawed guy, I could deal with that. I could. I would even give him a chance. I mean, that's a fucking stretch. All right, I wouldn't. But Donald Trump enjoys inflicting trauma on others. And his message is about tearing things apart, keeping people apart, burning things down, destruction. That's his message, man. And that message is being spread throughout the incoming administration like a virus, because in my mind it is. See, government doesn't work when it's filled with loyalists and cronyism and people have bought their way in. When billionaires, once again, previous podcast, have not just a seat at the table, fuck, they own the table, we're in trouble. And when I juxtapose Donald Trump to Martin Luther King, it's remarkable, flawed men both, without doubt. Questionable characters, totally different messages though. And this message will go on and on and on, because those words are immortal. The words that come out of Donald Trump's mouth are nonsensical. He never says anything of value that would be noteworthy in history. I just find it really fascinating that this will be reflected on Monday, and that the inauguration will be inside for the first time in 4 decades. And the list of luminaries and billionaires that are coming to bend the knee. This isn't inauguration. This is a coronation of what could very well become an emperor, and in which case we're in tremendous amounts of trouble, and this could happen rapidly. The hearings this week have just been absolutely laughable. I don't know why the appointees just don't walk in and sit down and go, say, ask me whatever the hell you want, I don't care. I know I have the job. See those guys over there? Those 11 guys opposed to your 10? Those 11 guys over there are all bought and paid for. Their loyalty lies to the emperor. They will do whatever he says. There will be no compromise. And all of the appointments, when we first made them all, I thought, no way. I was dead wrong. All of these appointments are going through. Rolling back to the beginning comparison, Trump and Martin Luther King, the agenda is destruction, just revenge. This is not to improve government. This is not to improve the lives of the citizens of the U.S. We're in a massive power struggle, and the billionaires are driving the bus. And you cannot compromise with someone that does not want to compromise. You cannot make boundaries with people, set boundaries with people that they just step right over. That doesn't work. The only way for you to not have that happen is to eliminate the relationship entirely, because they will never be trustworthy. They will always cross the boundaries. And we are in for a revolutionary change in the United States of America in the next, starting bang, Tuesday. And this country is just flat out divided. I mean, there's no compromising with the Trumpian mega maniacs. There's no way. They want eradication, and the progressive liberal left needs to understand, they want eradication of the left. They want complete subjugation of the left. And I don't think anybody can anticipate the consequences of what's going to happen. Government needs to function smoothly and efficiently, or to the best of its ability to serve the best interests of the people. This government will not function smoothly or effectively. And we all need to brace ourselves for that, and then try to figure out the only brakes on this train possible are 2 years away. 2 years away. And you have any idea of where this could go in 2 years? I mean, fuck. I don't know, I'm running on and I'm digressing and I'm all over the map, and if you stuck with me to the end, I hope you got some pearls out of it. These are not just my opinions, these are facts. And if you don't like them, you don't believe me, well then fuck you, don't watch. If you do, like, follow, comment on all the other platforms. TikTok will be back, Instagram, Spotify, and subscribe.